Let's move on to the business news now, and Will Hildebrandt is here. Good morning, Will.
Hi, Hella.
Thursday was a very big day for the tech giant Google, no?
That's right. Now, Google, at just over $17 billion, had reported a quarterly revenue that was higher thanks to a rise in online ads. But the world's biggest search engine did take a hit from the strong U.S. dollar. Now, earlier we spoke to our Silicon Valley correspondent Rebecca Bowering to figure out how Wall Street is digesting the results.
Actually, the market, though, had been braced for worse, and shares climbed quite nicely in after-hours trading. Now, analysts had expected that Google would report earnings of around $6.60 a share and $17.5 billion in revenue. So it did fall a little bit short of that, and also disappointed expectations when it came to the all-important paid clicks and cost per clicks. Now, there I'm referring to the number of people who click through on a Google search ad and how much money Google gets for each one of those ads from marketers. And the figures weren't quite what was hoped. Paid clicks were up 13%, but they were down slightly on the previous quarter. And cost per clicks were actually down 7% year on year. And these are important figures because even though Google is diversifying into all kinds of moonshot innovation, as we call it, internet balloons, self-driving cars, even this week entering the wireless mobile data space, it does remain at its very core an advertising company. And it's seeing those advertising revenues get nibbled away. One reason is because the US dollar has been so strong in the first quarter of this year. And of course, Google gets a lot of its revenues from overseas. The second reason is because consumer behavior is changing, particularly on mobile. We're not always going to a search engine now to access information. We're searching within apps. And a third reason is Google's rockstar acquisition, YouTube, which is going from strength to strength, but Google still hasn't quite worked out how to make a lot of money from it. More and more people are watching video adverts from beginning to end on YouTube, but actually those adverts are worth less money each to Google than its search ads. So yes, YouTube is very well loved, but the company still doesn't know how to extract good cash from it.
Well, corporate earnings, also the story in Asia, Will. How are the markets looking?
Well, so far, indices are in the red there. Japan's Nikkei is down. Earlier, Japan Airlines plunged 3%, while ANA Holdings was down 0.6%. This after lower oil prices overnight. Shanghai also widened losses. It was down earlier almost 2%. With blue chip developers, lenders leading that decline. Now, Hang Seng was also down. Markets are also concerned about Greece, which is in the spotlight once again today with the Eurogroup meeting in Riga. Moments ago, Germany's Finance Minister Wolfgang Schäuble said he did not think there would be decisive progress to reach a deal on Greece in Riga. Well, time now for a look at some of the day's other business stories, and we begin with more results. Amazon beat earnings forecasts thanks to a 15% increase in sales. The online retail giant had first quarter net sales of more than $22 billion, bolstered by the strong performance of its technology subsidiary, Amazon Web Services, which saw its sales rise 50%. That unit has cut prices nearly 50 times since its inception as it seeks to win market share versus Microsoft and Google. Comcast has pulled the plug on its $45 billion bid for Time Warner Cable. The deal would have combined the U.S.'s two largest cable and internet providers, but after 14 months, Comcast failed to convince regulators that a merger would be in the public interest. Comcast shares closed up 1.1%, while TWC was down 0.6%. And Deutsche Bank has been hit with a record fine. It's agreed to pay $2.5 billion in a settlement with U.S. and U.K. authorities over allegations that it manipulated LIBOR. That's the benchmark interest rate determined between banks, which is a basis of setting many other rates. As part of the deal, the bank will plead guilty to wire fraud, and employees involved in the wrongdoing will also be fired.
Time for one last story, Will. Bookmakers laying on the odds on what the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's next baby will be called. Tell us more.
That's right. So there's no confirmation on a due date, no confirmation on a gender, but Brits are already placing their bets on everything from dates to weights. And chief among them is the name. William Hill released these odds. A staggering 83% of bets have come in on it being a baby girl. James was the highest ranked boy name, and the long shot is Posh at 500 to 1. But the odds-on favorite is Alice at 6 to 4. Let's take a listen to the bookmaker.
We've had 2 bets of £500, both on the name being Alice. And this is massive, massive bets for us because the average bet on this type of market is about £3 to £5. So a bet of this size is unheard of. And what you will probably find is that somebody's heard something that they have said that if it's a girl, they might call it Alice. So I don't believe they actually genuinely know, but they certainly think they do.
Didn't see any odds for a William, but I don't think that's a bad name.
Well, I think William, I guess, 2 Williams in the family. I don't know how many Williams in that family, but certainly something to be keeping tabs on. Thanks very much, Will, for that.